Welcome to the Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. We got a Q&A episode for you guys. If you want to leave us one of these, go to the website, podcast page, record us a voicemail. First one coming in from Gustavo.
Let's go.
Hey, in my mind, I'm having a hard guess at where Gustavo comes from.
Please.
See if I'm right.
Hello guys, Gustavo from São Paulo, Brazil here.
Yay.
Please help me out. I am 30 years old. I've been lifting from a couple of years, and a year and a half ago I started training under Mestre Everdão Legário at Coab team, and amazing team. I always get to roll with people my size, my weight category or higher. White, color red, and black belts. Like I could even say there's too many black belts over there.
Maybe, yeah, amazing.
Like it just helps me keep pushing my game. However, at the end of this year, I'm getting married and moving to countryside.
Right.
According to the internet, there is a local community, but one black belt and mostly kids. Any tips on how to keep evolving my game, and also as a white or perhaps blue belt at the end of the year, how to help this small community?
Cool.
There you go. I funnily enough, shout out Kohabi. I've been there.
Right. Do you know the team he's talking about?
Yeah, I went out to Kohabi with Serginho Moraes, who's from there.
Yeah.
And also Alex Monsalve. And they did a seminar out there. It was crazy. We did it in this little church hall. It was incredible. So shout out, mate. It's
Gustavo with the quintessential Brazilian accent.
bro, I love it.
I looked on the internet.
It was
Love it.
It's beautiful. And
Thanks for your question.
The fact that we're getting a call from São Paulo is
It's
nice.
cool.
Yeah. That's my jiu-jitsu home right there. But
So he's
Mate,
moving to the country.
you're moving to the country, and I mean Kohabi's already pretty far out, right? And so the challenge here in terms of keeping your learning going when you've gone from a gym that has all these black belts to a smaller gym that might only have one black belt. I mean, that's all you really need. Like you actually don't even need a black belt. You just need a senior leader who's great with jiu-jitsu. The thing that you do need to do is have a bit of a mission or a plan for yourself. So if you're almost coming up for your blue belt, you've been on white belt for a while, you've got some idea. And I think picking a game that you admire or you love and really working on that and getting as much information as you can on that will be key. And I think another thing that will help you is when you get the chance going back to your old gym or going to new other gyms is a way to keep your game evolving, even though there may still be like a good jiu-jitsu at the gym you go to. You got to find ways to keep yourself developing.
Yeah. So Gustavo talks about this gym, which we've both encountered in Brazil, with the inverted pyramid.
So many
where there's
black
heaps
belts,
of black belts
red
and then
belts.
there's like hardly any beginners.
Yeah.
And Gustavo, what I can say confidently is that the majority of jiu-jitsu in Australia is the opposite.
Yes.
You have a coach who is a higher belt, often black, but not always. And then they pick up a group of people that want to start and the team builds from there.
Yeah.
And like, we know numerous teams that have grown and evolved to be full of savage grapplers and multiple colored belts, multiple black belts by following this approach. And I really think that it can't be overstated that if you've got one or two people that are passionate and can teach good jiu-jitsu and that they want to share it, that you will build that as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And so your training's going to change, right?
Yep.
You're not going to be fighting for survival like you probably are often at your gym now, but it will change. And I think like JT said, if you've got a bit of a strategy around what you want to get out of it, I think if you're prepared to like take that change on and help to grow the culture in this new town, I think you'll create something special. It'll, whatever. Maybe it'll be very different from that first year to say the second and third year, so on.
Yeah, definitely. And look, there's not always going to be someone your size. You're saying you're able to find roles in your own people your own size. There is value in that. Not if you are on the lighter side and you have to roll bigger people. Even though I always advocate for you to roll people your own size, this will force you to really work on your technique and your game, and this may force you to actually be better at jiu-jitsu because you don't have as many even weighted roles. I actually think it could be a good thing.
Yeah.
But Sochi, good luck, my friend.
Hey, you know what the gym is full of? It's full of people who are messing around on machines and lifting weights and stuff with no real plan about what they're trying to get out of it. And this results in people using the gym for like 12, 18, 24 months and not really getting anything as a result of that. We have created the Bulletproof for BJJ app so that you do not have to go through this process of no results. The Bulletproof for BJJ app equals instant gains when you start training your strength and flexibility specifically for jiu-jitsu. You can take a 2-week free trial right now. All you got to do is go to the App Store, download the Bulletproof for BJJ app, and start training. And the best part is JT and I will be there to coach you along the way. And if you don't love it, we offer a 100% money-back guarantee. Go get it. We'll see you on the inside. Onwards. Next one coming in from Dan.
Hey guys, thanks so much for the podcast and for your program. Really like the mobility and strength stuff I started doing a few months ago.
Awesome.
I'm a purple belt from Missouri in the States.
Shout out.
I'm going to be 45 years old this coming year. I started doing BJJ when I was like 38, 39. I've always been fairly athletic, usually doing endurance stuff, and then got hooked on BJJ. Here's my question, and it's kind of a mentality question. As I'm getting older, I'm not able to keep up with some of the training partners who are younger than me that I've started out with. And I know logically that this is just part of life and that they're going to start to surpass me and so on. And, you know, everyone's different as far as their progression. What I'm curious about for you guys, probably being a little bit younger than me, but soon facing kind of a similar thing. What are your thoughts about staying positive and just kind of like the mentality that you go into training with, knowing that, you know, age is coming, there's going to be some things that have to change in the game, and just kind of accepting that some explosiveness and some speed and some things that you took for granted aren't always going to be there.
Yeah, man, I feel it. This is poignant. I mean, trying to make me cry over here.
You can start on this. You trying to make me angry over here, bro? You start, Joe.
Look, Dan, my view is that you're spot on. I totally feel where you're at, and I'm in that zone now and have been for some time. We're all going to time out at some point.
Yes.
We're all going to peter off physically. You know, like if you just keep drawing the line long enough, it's going to happen, right? So the way I see it is you can refuse to acknowledge that and constantly battle with trying to fight the younger people or trying to fight against your own inadequacies or whatever through hard-headedness until the point where you just cannot, and then you get injured, or then you just get so fed up with jiu-jitsu that you quit.
Yep.
Or like a lot of people who I've seen who still train jiu-jitsu very productively and very effectively at an older age, you can see that that's coming, and then you can change the way you approach your jiu-jitsu. And so while I'm not saying like that, you know, you should still be holding yourself to a standard, but the standards may change. So as an example, where you might have once just been like, I'm going to dominate this guy, you might have to be like, this guy's probably going to dominate me unless like me fighting to not get tapped here, me fighting maybe to move through positions and be comfortable defending, that's going to be the win for me today against this guy. And so it's really changing then what you're trying to get out of the training. Not that you would do that with everyone, right? And you could adapt your game and all those things. But I think that like changing what it is that you're trying to get out of it is the key in this, in my view.
Yeah, and well, I would actually, I agree with Joe, but I want to reframe based off what you said. It sounds like you're someone who's looked after their fitness, even though you've come to jiu-jitsu later in life. And yeah, you can definitely feel the difference between someone who's 21 and someone who's 41. But really the difference is life. And I don't think the amount of time you spent in your life should, other than say physical injury, it shouldn't necessarily mean an advantage for the younger person. I feel the advantage for the younger person is they've experienced less loss, less information for them to doubt themselves, and they have less responsibility. So they play much more carefree. They play a wilder game. They go for things that you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. You might hurt yourself, because you've got all this learned information. And as somebody, I'm 42 this year. I push back on the idea that, you just got to accept you're not going to be explosive. You're not explosive because you don't train to be explosive. Now, speed is the first thing that you lose as an older person, but it's also the acceptance of you're not training to be a certain way. Now, you may just not have time. This is, I find, the biggest thing. As an adult, the older you get, you generally have more responsibilities. So you can't be doing sprint training and Olympic lifting and all the things, right? But I would say that if you modify your training, not just your jiu-jitsu training, but what you're doing in the gym, you do stay younger. We do see this, that people who lift weights consistently, they stretch, they do cardiovascular activities, whatever that looks like, they are younger on a cellular level. How you think about that is up to you. I have the mentality that I'm going to everyone's day up. That's just me. And it's got nothing to do with age. That's just me, because I'm insecure, over competitive kind of person. I don't care what age a person is. If it's a competitive role, I am absolutely fighting for the win, and it's just a frame of mind. So if we're talking about something which is like more psychological, if you want to approach it in a certain way and that works for you, that's great. But I think that you don't necessarily have to accept that everything deteriorates. Over time, certain things diminish, but I believe it's more about time and responsibility than it is just like you don't necessarily have to accept that because you're older, you're lesser in any way. If anything, I'd say there's a lot more to your advantage than a 21-year-old. That's just my take on it.
That's fair. I don't think he was saying, that I see myself as any lesser, though. It's just like...
No, but he's saying that they're more athletic. That's training. Like 21-year-old hasn't done your reps. 21, like it's been shown that older athletes are fitter and stronger. Old man strength is proven. Tendon and ligament strength takes 10 years. Cardiovascular strength, like endurance takes 2, 4, 5 years. Like there's many, many examples of older athletes smoking younger athletes. It's up to you, man. Like I think how you want to steer it and shape it. Like Joey said, if you want to approach it in a different way and that's sustainable for you, that's really good. I think whatever keeps you in the game is key. But what keeps me in the game is the idea of giving people nightmares. So do what you will with that.
Next one coming in.
Hey, Joey and JT. It's Justin from New Orleans, Louisiana in the U.S.
Shout out.
Love what y'all do. Following the program. I'm 42. I've been training for about, a year and a half, 2 years. I'm a blue belt. And one of the things that I'm kind of coming to is, being a little bit older, I come out of the trades. So, not patting myself on the back, but I'm really strong.
Respect.
I can go to war with these guys who are, 20, 23, 25, 28, whatever they are. But I can't afford to be injured. I got 2 little kids and a wife and have to keep going and do all the things. And I'm trying to figure out, if it's a conversation with the coach who owns the gym or what have you, how do I keep doing this thing and keep progressing, keep learning, but also not destroy myself? I've gotten into a few situations where, right now I'm limping around because I got into a situation and I snapped my heel down and kind of strained the sole of my foot. The whole thing is bruised. It's the whole question of, are you hurt or are you injured? Right now I'm just hurt. I can still work. It just hurts. So what do you think I ought to do with that? Thanks a lot.
Okay.
All right. Not a dissimilar sort of...
No, but this question has arisen before, which is we had the conversation about tradespeople being strong and, a Q&A episode talking about like stonemasons.
Yeah.
But then in the comments of that on our on our channel was, but what if your income, the house above your head, the roof, depends on your ability to physically work?
Yeah.
Then the cost is high, right? It's a different story, I think, for tradespeople. As tough as they are, you know, you cop an arm bar or you twist your wrist, you can't work.
Yeah.
This is a huge challenge. In terms of that, because both Joey and I, our work as trainers, coaches, different things, you have to physically demonstrate a squat. You have to physically demonstrate an overhead position. If you can't, even though people understand, oh yeah, you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you also, if you can't demonstrate what you've talked about, the respect for what you have to say goes down. Like if you can't show a certain ability. Now for you, it's very, you know, you need your body for your work. My advice is that you would reduce your training volume slightly, and you have to really choose your training partners. And even elite level people experience this, that they can't train with everyone because they need their body for competition, to win money and their reputation. They start to be very selective about who they trust. Like training partners that they can go pretty hard with, but they know are not going to do some crazy shit and hurt them. So my advice is actually, as much as you can talk to your coach, I would slightly reduce your training volume, because I actually think that is a big contributor to injury.
Did he indicate what it was?
No. And then I would go further and say you need a kind of tight circle of buddies who you can train with and you trust. I think that's key.
Yeah. Feel your situation. I would very actively avoid training with certain people. I do this myself. It's just people that I'm like, nah.
And very new people too.
Like yeah. And it's actually not throwing shade on any of those people. Sometimes it's what I know happens to my mind when that passes my guard.
Sure.
You know, like it's like, oh, there's something about this guy that grates me.
Yep.
And then I become like
a certain way.
Yeah, like an idiot when we're rolling, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. It's not good for me, and high injury risk.
Sure.
But here's, and I'm just thinking about this more and more, so I've been coaching a lot lately, and over the last year and a bit, I've been in my coaching, but also in my training, I've been doing a lot more positional sparring. And in my mind, positional sparring is way safer than just rolling.
Free rolling, yeah.
Yeah, it is way safer, and it is a way more effective way to learn jiu-jitsu.
Because it's a constraints-based game, Joey?
I would say there are constraints in there. So by virtue of that, yes,
maybe.
I am an ambassador of the ecological approach. Call me Joey Souders. No,
I hate Joey Souders, but no, I love Greg Souders.
Like, and you know, if you're not familiar with that, Justin, like it's just like going, hey, I want to start with you on my back, and I just want to work my back escapes.
Yeah.
I would actually choose my partners, and then I would do a lot more position. And you just do that in a row. You just go, bro, can I start in your whatever half guard because I'm working on dancing mother from half guard.
Sure.
You know, and your training partners will always oblige because it's like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I was just going to start standing, but yeah, let's do it. Like, you got something you want to work on?
Go to the thing.
Way safer, man. And then obviously you have like a predetermined endpoint, which is, okay, well, if I pass your guard or if you sweep me, let's restart.
Yeah.
And you can just do that. I just think it controls things a lot more, and it makes the whole game smaller and easier for you to stay controlled with as much as you can control.
Margin for error, like lower.
Yeah.
Tighter. That's great. That's such a good tip for sure.
Maybe I'd love if you could, maybe if you take that information,
give it a try and come back to us in a couple of weeks, man. Let us know either in the comments, message us, or send us a follow-up message to let us know how the approach works.
Yeah, and that goes to anyone that leaves us a question. Like, we always want to know how you receive our advice. You might be like, hey, boys, that's the stupidest thing anyone's ever said to me. We're like, fine, fair.
I tried it.
Love to hear
and broke my spine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I suck.
That's jiu-jitsu.
Unsubscribe. Hey, leave us a voicemail for the next Q&A episode. Go to the website, bulletproof@bjj.com. Hit the podcast page. Record us a voicemail. We'll play it. It's going to be great. Love you. See you on the next one.
Appreciate it.